Today, on episode 6, we continue to recover from the battle for Hogan's supremacy. A wild finish that one was, folks. And today we move right on ahead and we cover the two new champions at WrestleMania, Drew McIntyre and Braun Strowman. A look at their career, figure, history, and a take a look at this car that comes with a Braun Strowman figure. This plus a tale on a 1970s vintage toy box. Plus, rumor has it, Big Stevie Pump is feeling a little extra surly today. Will we see a record number of Shame on Yous? All this and more today. Don't miss it. Tales from Collector's Paradise, hosted by yours truly, Big Stevie Pump. Welcome to Tales from Collector's Paradise, episode 6, featuring yours truly, Big Stevie Pump. Guys, I'm going to tell you what, thank you for joining me here today, and was episode 5, parts 1 and part 2, the episode that was just too big for only one show. Was that not a wild and epic conclusion to that, or what? I tell you what, I really enjoyed putting that on for you. I enjoyed doing it. I hope you enjoyed watching it. And I'll tell you what, due to the success of that, you may have noticed a little video package that played at the beginning here, a little intro. Well, yeah, that's because my production team, hard at work. You know, my oldest son, Austin, and his girlfriend, Karen, put that together for me. Kudos, ultimate kudos to them for that. Thank you very much. So we're trying to, class up the joint a little bit, make this look like a little bit more of a real channel here. You know, it's happening right before your very eyes, folks. I told you things were going to continue to get better right here on Tales from Collector's Paradise, featuring yours truly, Big Stevie Pump, and you have the Big Stevie Pump guarantee that things are going to get better. And they are. Enough on that, folks. Here we go. So having a lot of fun here. Anyway, so you might have seen at WrestleMania that Braun Strowman and Drew McIntyre won the titles, the heavyweight titles for each of the respective brands, Raw and SmackDown. We're going to get into that here shortly. We're going to take a look at their, action figure line that they've had made for them since they've been in WWE, the vast majority of them. And that little red car that you've seen, we're going to take a look at that too, that come with a Braun Strowman figure. You might have noticed the Howard Finkel tribute, and, seriously, guys, about that, I would just want to try to do something cool to pay a little respect for that, and I'm sorry for his family's loss, and, I don't know if they'd ever see this, but if you do, I'm sorry, the Finkel family for your loss, and anyway, I wanted to try to do something, so that was that little tribute that I had going on earlier in the video as well. So, we got a lot going on, guys, and I appreciate you continuing to like, subscribe, and comment. Let's continue to grow this channel. I'm having a lot of fun. I hope you're having fun watching. I appreciate them getting a lot of feedback. A lot of people texting me personally and, telling me some things they like or don't like or whatever. But, we're trying, folks. We're going to keep getting better. Rome wasn't built in a day. And neither was Tales from Collector's Paradise, featuring yours truly, Big Stevie Pump. But you know what, guys? Let's take a look at a vintage toy box that come out in the 1970s. That might be fun. Okay, folks. There it is. What you're looking at is a 40-plus-year-old vintage toy box from the 1970s. And no, not just any vintage toy box from the 1970s. We're talking about one made by none other than Wheeler Hicks himself. That's right, Wheeler Hicks from Crossville, Tennessee. Unfortunately, Mr. Hicks left us here in 1997, the same year my oldest son was born. However, his work lives on. Now, the deal with this, and I'm not going to keep hard selling you on Wheeler Hicks. I think his work speaks for himself. I'm not going to keep hard selling you on Wheeler Hicks, but anyway, here, look at this real rope handle. This is the way they made them in the 70s. And basically, I had this when I was a kid, and this was made sometime between 1977 and 1979. But honestly, I feel like it was made in 77 or 78. I'm almost positive. And the rope handles. And we're going to open it up and see what's inside here in just in a minute. You never know. But basically, you know, this I had up until the time I was about 18, and I moved out and left home. And fortunately for me, my mom kept it for me, and it's real wood, and it's, you know, got the lacquer finish and, you know, the metal hinges, and it's real nice. And my mom kept it for me, and I just reacquired it over the weekend here. And happy birthday to my mom. She just turned 29. You know, congratulations to her. I took her some lunch there and picked up this toy chest. So she's been keeping it safe for me for all these years. And so now here it resides in Collector's Paradise. Let's just take a look and see what's inside. You have got to be kidding me, folks. You have absolutely got to be kidding me. Yep, Shawn Michaels. I knew it. Oh, my goodness. Anyway, folks, let's take a look at this. You know, the way that this is made, and, you know, the ropes, the way it's made on the inside. And this is, like I said, complete hardwood. Shawn Michaels, and he's got the belt. I guess he's hiding in here from Hogan. Good grief, folks. But Mr. Wheeler himself, I don't know how he'd feel about Shawn Michaels hiding here, but when I was a little boy, I kept all sorts of awesome stuff in here. And this is a very important part of my life. And this toy box is awesome. So anyway, I just wanted to show this, but this is a toy box from the 1970s. Like I said, probably made sometime around 1977 or 78. And it's just awesome. And now it's here in Collector's Paradise. All right, and we're back with Braun Strowman. Get these hands. So anyway, we're going to take a look at these 6 Braun Strowmans, and they all look very similar, especially these, you know, 3 elites here in the middle, and these 4, how he looks now. And I mean, I don't know if that's a shame on you, Mattel, or a shame on you, Braun Strowman, for not changing up your look, but whoever it's on, shame on you. Let's just give them both one. Shame on you, Braun Strowman. Shame on you, Mattel. Let's just give them both a shame on you. So anyway, let's pull this basic one forward, and this is how he looked when he very first come out. And this one here is wearing the mask, you know, that Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, actually sent him the other night. I guess that's going to be his challenger. Of course, he just won the belt, like I mentioned earlier. So I can't get his mask to stay on. Well, let's just go ahead and take a look at the mask. And just keep it off. So anyway, a couple of things about the elites and the basics. You'll notice that they've got a few different joints and everything, like in the knee, and I'm going to pull them up and pose it here, but they're double jointed in the knee on these here, as to where this has only got the single joint. Down here at the bottom on the ankle, this has got a swivel that rocks to the side. I'm going to show you in just a moment. And then it bends up and down. This only bends up and down. They both have a turn here. And then the elites actually have a turn at the high thigh right here, as to where these do not. The elbow joints have changed over the course of time. We'll spinning back around this way so you can see it a little better. And now the elites elbows, it just bends up and down, and it actually has a bend right there. Well, the basics, the old school basics actually have that same bend, but I'm going to show you here in a minute on the new school basics. We're going to bring that forward, and then they both have this, you know, a head bend or whatever, head turn, and then at the torso, these have an extra bend there. So that's kind of the difference between the elites, and these are a $20 figure or $15.88 if you're lucky enough to get them at Walmart. This one right here, sorry, moving back just a smidge. And this is a $10 figure. Now, and that's it pretty much everywhere. Now, everywhere sells it for 10. But, you know, for what it is, I've got both of these because this one come out first and this one came out later. I try not to buy a lot of the basics, but I'll buy it if it's the first one I see or if it's the only, you know, version of that figure that they're ever going to have. So, I mean, let's do some moving while we're talking. Actually, I meant to keep these two here. So now what the basics that they've done is they've actually eliminated the bend at the ankle right here. And like I said, I am going to pull these off and show them here in just a minute. They've eliminated the bend at the ankle here. from now. And then the other maneuver that they've done differently is notice that the arm, they've just kind of molded that through and they've eliminated that, but they still have a swivel at the elbow. And then these, like I said, do not have a swivel at the elbow. The swivel is up higher on the arm. So you can still, I guess, get, mostly the same effect. I don't know. I mean, I prefer this. Mattel's still charging $10 for these. Shame on you, Mattel. Shame on you. You've just made these figures worse. They're almost just unbuyable now. I try not to buy them, like I said. So shame on you, Mattel. Okay, and these three all basically look the same. I mean, this one's got the screaming face, and then this one here's got the one little hair strand that's, trailing down there. And other than that, they all basically look the same. So I'm just going to push this one to the back. And one cool thing I will point out about this one here is the Money in the Bank briefcase. I will give Mattel kudos to that for having the green one and the gold one. At least you made it worth buying. I mean, they put out these figures that look almost alike, and they'll change them up a little bit. But this one come with a base. This one here I got for $15.88 at Walmart. It was part of the SummerSlam line. But this base is breakaway, and that'll come apart. We're not going to tear it all the way apart, but you can see the cracks in it there, and it's designed to bash on somebody's head. And oh, what's that? Get these hands. Oh, look, there's his extra hands in there. Terrible joke, Steve. Anyway, there's that. And so here's this guy, and you'll notice the red belt. And I'm going to go ahead and complain about this red belt. Give me the blue belt. Why does it take so long from production, from when something debuts to when you get it out? I mean, give me the blue belt. Sell it on your website. I don't know. Come up with something. But that's why he's holding the red belt. So this isn't accurate, folks. This belt should be blue now for SmackDown. He's the SmackDown World Champion. So anyway, it's, that it is what it is. But I said I was going to get into some of these bends. So if you notice here, his ankle, they'll bend up, and it'll swivel to the side like that. And, it's got, like I said, double bends in the knees, so you can actually do that, which you cannot do with the basic. It's got the torso bend. These are pretty posable. The Elites are pretty good. They're definitely worth $20. They're definitely worth $15.88 if you're lucky enough to get them at Walmart. Like I said, my irritant is them not having the blue belt. Shame on you, Mattel, for not having the blue belt. And then we're going to cover one more thing with Braun Strowman, and then we're going to move on to Drew McIntyre. All right, and we see here, get these hands. This is the figure that come with this car, and this retails for $30. I did not pay that for it. I got it for about $15. I wait for some of this stuff to go on clearance, especially at Braun Strowman, because they put out so much of it, it's all the same. Like I said, there's more Braun Strowman figures than you're seeing, but this is all I can stand to buy because they all look the same. Anyway, shame on you, Mattel, for making these basics so pathetic. And look at this. Let's see if we can get you to really tell. Maybe you could tell better on the front one. But look at the decal sticker. It's already peeling up. All of these decal stickers are basically peeling up at the corner. Now, they made this, and this is where I'm going to get another shame on you into Mattel. So they made this car, and like I said, with kids in mind, and you're supposed to be able to bash it up. So let's bash it up a little bit. Oh, you can take the windshield off. Oh, you can take the door off. Man, you can smash the hood up, and all that comes out unbelievable. Can you, oh, look, the seats come out. I mean, the trunk comes off. I mean, we've bashed it up now, folks. It's done. So here's the deal, and you can even bash it up more than what I've bashed. So here's the deal. This is designed for kids, but it's like $30. Now, kids may or may not be able to buy this because they would try to justify that, they could get a figure or two for the price of that, and they may not want to drop $30 on that. They might rather get a couple of figures. So, are you marketing this to kids or are you marketing this to adults? And let's move around and look at the Braun Strowmans while we're, paused here. So, you got something to look at while I'm telling my little beef. So, shame on you, Mattel, for that. So, I would prefer that to not be all, damaged up and not be as much a kid's toy. And what I've always wanted, and this is a shame on you to every toy company ever that's made wrestling figures, give me a limo, give me an ambulance, which Mattel does have an ambulance coming. It's another bash up thing, part of their, I can't remember the name of the line because I do not buy that stuff, folks. I mean, it's more for kids and, and I try to go for the realism of things. And I mean, I just, as much as I can, so I don't buy, like I said, a lot. I don't buy a lot of stuff for kids or whatever, but, I mean, these figures, I guess they are for kids, but you know what I'm saying. I don't buy like the ones specifically marketed to kids, the ones that have the breakaway stuff or the buttons in their back or the spring action or whatever. But that's my gripe on Braun Strowman here. So, and Mattel and them not putting out an ambulance and a limo and fire truck and all of these things that adult collectors might like and would actually buy. Quit marketing them to kids because it's probably the adults that's going to buy them. Shame on you. And here is the Scottish psychopath, Drew McIntyre, the new champion. So now he has the right belt. I griped about that with Braun Strowman earlier, but he has the right belt. Drew McIntyre does. And I've kind of got him set up here. And this is kind of a career retrospective of Drew McIntyre, how he looked when he very first come out. And he was like the chosen one. And we're going to pull this one forward and look, the Intercontinental belt, that's a really cool looking Intercontinental belt. They did a really good job with that. And, this is how he looked when he very first come out. And he was called the chosen one. And this is one of the very, earlier Mattel figures to come out around 2010, 2011 at the latest. And I mean, that's, this was a basic back then. And then this was the elite. And like I said, this is one of the earlier Drew McIntyres to come out. And these are really cool. And I mean, this is kind of how his career went. And then he said he didn't want to be, toward the end of his WWE run, he was in a group with 3MB, with Heath Slater and Jinder Mahal, and they were like a little joke, and they made him come out playing air guitar and stuff, and he said he didn't want to be remembered as that, goof playing air guitar. Well, that being said, I have always loved this figure. I really wanted it. I chased it down. I was super stoked to get it. I don't know if I just like the headband or what it is I like about it, and I'll pan the camera around in a minute. But anyway, I'm a big fan. Now, this figure, we're going to just, this right here, Mattel, you should be ashamed of yourself for ever putting this figure out. I was so disappointed in this figure, this basic, and I should have never bought it. And look at how short he is, and this is what we're going to get into. And I mean, are you kidding me, Mattel? Are you absolutely kidding me? This is supposed to be the same guy. This is a $10 figure, $20 figure, $15.88 if you get it at Walmart. Anyway, it's like, what are you even doing, Mattel? This is an embarrassment. So you know what? Shame on you. That's got to be the shame on you of the week, probably of all time. So of all time on the show, shame on yous, this might be the top shame on you ever. I mean, it's pathetic. I mean, even the old basic back in the day, it's just, he's supposed to be this big monster, and you've made this figure awesome. And that's why this figure here, folks, by the way, comes with a different head, and it's falling away here. And let's bring this head up close. And what I've done here is I've chosen to, there you go. Look at that. Look at how close he can get. That's some detail. I couldn't get detail to work the other day at all, but now you can see it. Anyway, and I kind of like this one with the hair falling down in his face, because this is the exact same head sculpt that's on this other figure here. So this is the one I've got holding the belt. This one came with the tag belt, so therefore I just left it with him. But this right here, this is an impressive figure, and these jackets are the same. They've got a slight little bit of deco difference and how shiny the paint is or whatever, but for the most part, I mean, the jackets look identical, but both of these are awesome figures. Now, brings me to my next gripe, this one here. Another reason I have the belt on that one, that's a Target exclusive. Shame on you, Target. Shame on you, Mattel, for making these things impossible to find. And like I said today, I warned about a record number of shame on yous because I'm getting tired of not being able to find these store exclusives or seeing them go for $100 on the internet in the secondary market. It's like, quit making these things so impossible to find. Like that, it's ridiculous. Some parts of the country, the distribution is just pathetic, and that's putting it mildly. Parts of the country don't even get some of these figures. Other parts of the country get flooded with them. And anyway, it's a shame on you. And I guess, you know what? I said that was the shame on you. This Drew McIntyre was the biggest in show history. Well, scratch that, folks. The biggest shame on you in show history is distribution from these toy retailers, whether it be on the store level, whether it be, from the company, whatever. Shame on you, toy industry, for just failing to deliver these figures to the public. They're awesome and people want to get their hands on them. So let's pick up the camera and take a look and try to keep my fingers out of the way. So you can take a look here at these Drew McIntyres and how he looked early on his career, and then he kind of progressed. And then, like I said, there he is at the in the 3MB gimmick. And by the way, these stands, you may notice, used to come with a lot of the figures, but my buddy, and it may or may not have been the same buddy that once spilled beer on my entire muscle collection. It may or may not have been that same buddy. He shall remain nameless. Suggested I use these stands. And this little WrestleMania backdrop, folks, I actually made, and I've mentioned before about taping these together, and they come with the figures, but and I've made that, so it's not hard to do, just a little bit of tape and a little bit of time. But anyway, that figure with his hair in his face, like I said, he comes with the tag belt, and I just, since the other head that's laying down there sideways is the exact same head as that one right there, I just chose to, you know, go with the hair in his face one on that, so I'll have two different looking Drew McIntyres. Like I said, the Target exclusive, excuse me, this one here, they're so hard to find, folks. And like I said, that figure will go for $100, and then they put out another one, so I mean, it really shouldn't, but the market's still strong for it. And, you know, I just hate it, and I want these figures. I want one of, you know, every guy or whatever if I can, not the basics, but the elites. So, I mean, it's just a real disappointment when you can't find them and you don't have the money necessarily to pay that, you know, the exorbitant prices on the secondary market. So do a better job, toy companies, of getting the stuff out there. But all right, folks, you know, I think I've got all my shame on yous out of the way, and we're wrapping things up. We're going to go back to a live shot of Big Stevie Pump, and we're going to close this out for the day. Okay, folks. Thanks once again for watching here today on Tales from Collector's Paradise, featuring yours truly, Big Stevie Pump, Episode 6. I hope you enjoyed the coverage of Drew McIntyre and Braun Strowman in that red car, and I hope you enjoyed the coverage of the vintage toy box that's over 40 years old from my childhood, you know, made for me custom by one Wheeler Hicks. Anyway, guys, you know, continue to like, subscribe, you know, comment. I appreciate you joining me on this journey. I hope you like the new intro video and the new outro video you're about to see in a few seconds, courtesy of my son and his girlfriend, Karen. Once again, my son, Austin, and his girlfriend, Karen. Kudos to you. Ultimate kudos to you. Thanks, everybody, for making this one of the best shows going on the internet today. And Big Stevie Pump, signing out. Tales from Collector's Paradise, hosted by yours truly, Big Stevie Pump.